is Hiroko Yamamura. I'm at Anime Expo. Just finished watching Danny Choo give his keynote and answer questions to the press. We have an exclusive moment to sit down with him for an interview. Danny, thanks so much for spending some time with us today.
Thank you for having me.
How are you enjoying LA so far?
Oh, it's absolutely fantastic. So I've been to LA about 5 times now, and it really is great out here. The weather's like really nice, people are really great, and it's always fun to be back at Anime Expo.
How do you like the weather in the room we're in right now?
The what?
How do you like the weather in the room we're in right now?
So the weather is really hot outside, and inside over here it's like really, really cold. So yeah, it's quite cold.
So why don't you tell some of our readers that might not be too familiar with the beginnings of Culture Japan and maybe how you got that started?
So I'm originally born and raised in the UK. I moved to Japan about 14 years ago, and I started working off in the IT industry. So website manager for Amazon, engineer for Japan Airlines, and product manager for Microsoft. Then I left Microsoft to start up my own company, which was initially going to do web consulting, like SEO and stuff like that. And then as I was doing that, I was like doing lots of sharing of my life in Japan, my daily life in Japan, and my interests, which are anime. And as I started to do that, the website at the time was dannychoo.com. I started to gather lots of viewership from around the world. And as the viewership accumulated, then the people who were creating content that I was sharing started to become very interested in my work, basically. So then I met people like a Good Smart Company, Bushi Road, Konami Production IG, and so on and so on. So that's I guess that's the beginnings. And then after a while, we designed a mascot character, which is over here, Mirai Suyonaga. And so she originally was designed to kind of like make the place look more pleasant looking. So for a good like year and a half, she did nothing but just like sat in the corner of my website. But just from that, we made a Figma, which is a Good Smart Company product, and that sold quite well. And then I started to realize that I really need to like put more effort into looking after her, rather than just like leaving her alone. And then that's when the Mirai Suyonaga world just started to take off, basically. So mainly working with lots of different collaborations and so on.
Fantastic. So a lot of people actually who might not be familiar with Culture Japan or your figure website are actually familiar with the Tokyo Stormtrooper videos. So a lot of people actually wonder, did you ever run into any problems doing Tokyo Stormtrooper? Have any crazy heat issues? Somebody not really like you dancing next to them? Any crazy stories to give about that?
Not really. So I was getting onto the train one day and I had my blaster and helmet, and then the guy, he said, no, you can't go on the train like that. I said, well, why not? You know, it's just Stormtrooper, right? And he said, oh, okay, wait, let me go and ask someone. He picks up the phone to like speak to his superiors, and during the conversation, he said, so desu ne, so Star Wars no areなんですよ. Yes, it was that thing from Star Wars. And then he put down the phone and said, yeah, sure, but you have to make sure that it's the what do you call it, the handle part of a gun. What's that special name for that? You know, the horse. You know the bit that you hold, that bit there. No, the trigger's the bit you pull. The handle, right? So as long as you can't see the handle, and don't put on your helmet, then you're fine. So that was one episode. I do get often approached by police, but I always say the same thing. They say, "Event desu ka?" "So desu, event desu." So basically that exchange means the policeman says, "You off to some event?" So, yes I am. I said, oh, good job. So that's about it, really. So not really any anything like slicey or dicey, or that's about it.
How much do you miss kind of the Akihabara street culture and, you know, running around on a Sunday and kind of the things that used to happen there that have just kind of faded away at this point and kind of dispersed.
Yeah, so I'm quite disappointed about the way Akihabara has turned out. In that, so there was an. I think lots of people are unaware, but a few years ago there was a knifing incident. It was quite bad actually. But just because of that one incident, they completely changed it. I think they kind of like used that as an excuse to change it, because they wanted to monetize from the high cost of land there, and it's turned out to be more. Much more commercialized, which is not a bad thing, but lots of small shops in Akihabara have tended to start to disappear basically. And while they did bring back the pedestrianization of the main roads, there's like no cosplay allowed at all, which is very, very disappointing. So.
How do you feel about everybody and collectors kind of starting to move over to Nakano now and do a lot of their shopping there, and you're starting to see a little bit more of a culture build up there, and more hardcore fans I've been.
Said that Nakano Broadway, which is like another like otaku haven, it's still very much more geared to the collector, but Akihabara still has, while lots of small shops have disappeared, there are still lots of big strong brands. So there's the Kotobukiya store, there's a Vogue store. So people still go to Akihabara because there's still a nice atmosphere in Akihabara. Whereas Nakano Broadway, it's more for collectors, more retro because it's all indoors. So it's two different atmospheres really.
So you're here in LA right now, and you have a really crazy travel schedule. You're always working on various projects. How do you find times to enjoy hobbies and do personal things?
With great difficulty. So once upon a time, I said to myself, I don't want to be just sitting here writing a blog all the time. And I think God was excellent, because he probably said, okay, fine, fair enough. And we've like done something. And these days I want to sit down and write stuff. So, but unfortunately I need to make a sacrifice, and that sacrifice is to do less of the small things, small but important things, and work on the big impacting things, which take a longer time. And so that's what my time is used for mostly these days. And so an example is these dolls over here, which is actually the world's first 3D printed Android interactive doll. And so like all my time, so I do all the project management. I go to the factories, I speak to folks and say, no, the oppa must look like this, not like this. And so there's that. And I also manufacture these cards over here, Moikanji and Moikaran. So these done quite well. And it's not just printing cards. It's we use a particular shade of orange, which is difficult to replicate. So we do this. We make a particular color in Illustrator. We hand it to the printers and they print it out, and it turns out red. And there's lots of like going back and forth. And because the way we've designed the cards, I'm very particular in that I really want them to have a little border around them, like this. And usually when they print these cards, it's a huge sheet, and they have this huge machine which like cuts them out. They always tell the client that there's going to be a margin of error. It's going to be like 0.11 millimeters. I say, no, that's not good enough. It has to be absolutely even on both sides. So that's another challenge which I have right now, which I'm managing full-time. But to go back to answer your question, because I'm doing all of this, it's very difficult to like find time to just relax a little bit. But having said that, the satisfaction I get from like making products like this and having lots of people enjoy them is it's nice, you know, to have people be able to say, Danny, I picked up learning Japanese because of your cards, for example. Or Danny, I was like very runnery, but I have a picture of Mirai-chan next to me or something like that. So they're not runnery anymore. Personally
speaking, you know, hearing about your story and with anime and Japanese culture being so Japanese, hearing about somebody coming from another country like England and coming in and attaching to something very Japanese and not just selling it to foreign markets, but back to the Japanese brands and Japanese people has been really exciting. And I feel like that is kind of this untapped market, and you're very much a pioneer in that area. How do you feel about being able to take something that has been so incredibly contained and now coming in, not being born in Japan, and putting your spin on things and selling it to the Japanese people?
I think that so first and foremost, there's a misunderstanding in like certain areas that I do this only for the money. If I only done it for the money, I'll be still at Microsoft or Amazon, earning 30 million in a year, and I'll finish work at 6 o'clock, relaxing on the beach and stuff like that, which I'd love to do. As soon as I got into LA, while my stuff went to like Santa Monica, I was like doing my presentation, which is tomorrow morning, and I still haven't done it because I had to rehearse for the opening ceremonies this morning. And so I do this line of work because I really love what I do, and I'm not afraid to use any budget that we have to like try out new things, even though we haven't done it before. So I haven't made doors before, and so this is my first time, and I know there's going to be lots of hiccups. I know I'm going to make a mold and it's not going to be right, and then we'll make a new mold. But we know how to make the new mold because we made this first mold. If I didn't make that mold, there wouldn't be a second mold. I do it because I really love what I do. Having said that, I need to feed myself, and people think that it's a sin for me to make money to feed myself, which is fair enough. But I don't purposely try to monetize for everything. I think that if you're very focused and you really love what you do, and you need to feed yourself at the same time, then the money's going to come afterwards anyway. So I'll tell you something. I don't know whether I mentioned this before. I made the Good Smile website for free.
Very smart.
And so Aki-san, he actually announced that I made it for free before I was ready to announce that. So he's like in an interview and said, yeah, we paid Danny in figures, ha ha ha. So that's what he done, he paid me in figures. So I made him this website, Mirai Gaia, and so he paid me figures. But then it got to a while bit whereby I didn't like the taste of figures anymore. It wasn't keeping my stomach filled. So we came to agreement whereby he pays me a certain amount to run his website, but I still get the free figures, which is kind of cool. And I think I went off at a tangent and forgot what I was talking about.
Do you think Japan was harder, maybe one of the hardest places to break into, though, as hobbyist, foreigner, business person? It can be very xenophobic at times.
I think that there's actually lots of foreigners in Japan who have done quite well. I was on a show recently called The Face, which is presented by one guy from Arashi, and it was talking about lots of gaikokujin, foreigners in Japan who do quite well for themselves. So there's this, I think it's an American chap, and he writes about ramen. He's got like a ramen blog. And he's quite famous. He goes to a store, he eats ramen, takes photos of it, and he monetizes from his blog. And then there's this like other American guy, and he's like a fortune teller. And someone would come to his like fortune telling booth in Shibuya, and he would look at their hand and say, "Repeat after me, happy, happy, happy." And the Japanese folks would say, "Happy, happy, happy." And lucky, 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 and they would repeat after him. Lucky, lucky, lucky. And he makes 30 million yen a year doing that. And he lives in this huge mansion in the middle of Shibuya. And so yeah. So I mean, again, I don't think it's just me. I think there's like lots of other talented foreigners who the world don't know about because they don't watch Japanese TV, or they're just unaware of them. So I don't consider myself anything special. I think that the language, learning. One thing is learning that language. Learning language is like very important for you to articulate what you want to do in Japan. So I know lots of foreigners in Japan who do business, and some of them they say, "Oh well, my wife speaks Japanese. I don't need to speak Japanese," and they don't get that far actually. Maybe that's what they want. But if you are able to articulate your ideas in Japanese to a Japanese person, then that's when things become much more easier for you. So I think, really focusing on like learning Japanese really has helped me, and I would suggest to anybody who's interested in like living and working in Japan to really focus on the language as much as possible.
What can you tell people who potentially want to apply for those positions that you've recently posted? What kind of things should they focus on in communicating to you, and what do you want to see from them in their applications?
So we've had quite a few applications so far. I think that we're not looking for any fire-breathing ninjas. We're looking for just ninjas. You don't need to breathe fire, okay? And I do feel that lots of the tests are actually common knowledge, to be honest, and lots of those skills can be picked up on Google. So if you have a look at that exercise and you just go to Google, just search up how to use SketchUp or SketchUp tutorial, then you will like learn how to use this software to like make a booth, and the rest is common sense. All right, you have like you don't have a till over here and a till over here and a till over here and a till over here. It's you think about how people move through the booth, like things like crowd control. People come along and where the product placements should be like. So it's pretty much we're looking for someone who is like on the ball, who has this like sense of common sense and can use Google to like look for answers to questions that they don't know. So that's about it. I don't care whether they're homeless, black or white, whether they've been to school or not. As long as they can do those tests, then I'm very interested in speaking.
For anybody who might be on the fence about visiting Japan, what can you tell them is the best part of visiting Japan, living in Japan, and something they might experience there that they would love to see?
I think that so I met some friends at Culture Japan Night where they became friends at Culture Japan Night. They were readers, and they told their friends they were going to Japan, and their friends said, well, "Why Japan?" I think that Japan is still very much like a mysterious country to like many people. If you do a search for like only in Japan, you see like all these strange things. You see this guy with his shirt up and a pipe stuck into his stomach. It's only in Japan. And but I can list so many other only in Japan, which I'm very proud of like talking about. Basically, you can order something on Amazon in the morning and it'll arrive the same day in Japan, right? And you can, if your watch is like off, you just wait for the next train to come. 5:30. It's 5:30. You can set your watch by the train times in Japan. It's just like so accurate. There's just so much cool stuff I can talk about in Japan that one has to go and really experience it for themselves, really. So my German friends' parents, German parents, came over. They don't speak a word of Japanese, and they managed to like get around on the trains themselves. So if they can do that, and they are like 70 years old, I think anyone can.
Any message for your American readers and fans that you want to send out?
I think that I send out a particular message that I do all the time, and I think that I'm very fortunate enough to be in a position where I can like meet lots of people around the world, not only like readers, but also like folks in the industry as well. And I do that through sharing what I love, basically. But whenever you start sharing something, there'll be people who like kind of like don't like, what's he doing? He's like sharing stuff. So there like be these type of people out there who want to do their best to try to stop you, basically. And the most important thing is to continue to do what you love. And it is not just me. I speak to like lots of other like voice actors, voice actresses, and they get exactly the same sort of thing. Really. You know, they have their trolls, and even the industry folks, people who make anime. As long as they're doing what they love and they kind of like out there in the limelight, there'll be people like who really want to cut them down. So the message which I want to leave to like folks in America is to continue to do what you love, no matter what anybody says about like your hobbies or whatever. I do realize that I hear a lot from American folks that they love anime, but it gets frowned on by lots of people around them. You know, what's this anime stuff? That's hentai cartoon, right? That was a very bad attempt at an American accent. But again, you should really focus on what you love doing, and everything will just follow, just flow together. One thing some people do say is that, yeah, well, you need to get lucky, right? You need to get lucky before like stuff happens. If you want to win the lottery and you buy one ticket, you know you may win. But if you buy 2 tickets, or 5 tickets, or 10 tickets, you increase your chances of winning this lottery. So I see luck as, you know, increasing the amount of opportunities for yourself. You can only do that through hard work, basically. So I mean, luck is a word which exists in the dictionary, but if you really want to really get lucky, you really have to like make those opportunities of windows for yourself, instead of like just waiting around. Oh, this Danny, he got lucky, you know what I mean? So no, I'm not lucky, I'm just going to wait for something luck to happen, you know what I mean? So you know, you have to really do something on your own to like make more opportunities of luck open for you, instead of waiting around blaming other people. So yeah.
Thank you very much, Danny Choo, for spending some time with us today. Tell our readers how they can find you.
They can find me at when is this going on live? Online.
I'll try to cut it today, but
All right, okay.
let's see what I drink tonight. You know.
Right, okay. some Red Bull, right?
I
was given this like 5-minute shot thing, and I was also told about like a new drink. It's called like weight training. What's it called? Pre-workout.
That doesn't sound delicious.
I know, but apparently after you drink it, it helps you do weight training. And if you're not weight training, it makes you want to like lift something. So maybe you can like...
We can flip the table later, maybe.
That's right. So if any readers are going to attend Anime Expo, then I will be at... I'm just like walking around the halls, like just having fun, interacting with readers. I have this booth in the south lobby. If you're coming into Anime Expo, you can't miss it because it's like right in the middle of everything. So I'll be there from time to time. If not, you can catch me online if you want to talk to me about anything. All my details are on my profile page. Hopefully there's some of you out there who would be interested in working in Japan, and you are a non-fire breathing ninja, and if you fit the bill, then I'll sponsor your visa, pay for your costs to bring you over to Japan, and we'll make some cool stuff together.